Good morning and welcome to Waking Up with Don. I have a special guest here today. I have Lori Castellini. I got your name right,
Yes.
Lori. And she's from Mike Walker Fitness, and she does weight training. Am I saying that right? Is it just weight training, or is there a proper name for the regimen that you do?
I think weight training is perfect.
Weight training is perfect. Now, we've had other exercise people on the show before.
Mm-hmm.
What makes weight training different than, say, Zumba or some of the other things that we see?
I think weight training for women especially is different because a lot of women don't want to weight train.
Mm-hmm.
They want to go and do the treadmill and the elliptical, and they might be intimidated by the weight room.
You hear that a lot too. Like, I know that's gross. I don't want to have big muscles.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to have big muscles to weight train.
Not
do
at
you?
all. Every woman thinks I'm going to get all bulky and big if I weight train, and it never happens that way. It takes a little bit more than that to get bulky and big. So it actually burns a lot more fat than the actual.
Because when you see people like Ms. Olympia and people like that, it's like, holy mackerel. But that's their full 40-hour-a-week job.
Exactly.
Doing that. Now,
Yeah.
you're a busy mom,
Mm-hmm.
so you don't do it 40 hours a week, do you?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. Yeah.
Now, what would you recommend for, say, a young mom who wants to do a little bit of weight training, maybe tone up? How many times a week do you have to make a commitment?
I would say 2 times a week at a minimum, and then do some cardio on the side. But I would say at least two times a week.
What are the advantages to weight training, say, over just aerobicizing or whatever?
Well, generally, like I said, a lot of women just do the cardio. And when you do cardio, you're only kind of burning, the calories during that time. But when you do weight training, you actually burn it for about 24 to 48 hours after that. So you actually are burning at rest, which is kind of nice, and it's great for our bones, and it's great for confidence too. To kind of, for a woman to get in the weight room, it builds your confidence, and you don't have to have your husband carry things and do all of that. You can do it on your own. So
I had a friend who was a serious trainer, and not that you're not, but I mean he was a competitor, and he said that if you did a lot of aerobics and you have a pear-shaped body, you'll just have a smaller pear-shaped body. But weight training gives you the opportunity to actually sculpt your body.
Definitely.
And so you can really tailor that for women, right? In other words, guys want upper body strength, and maybe ladies not so much. Maybe there's some. What are some of the problem areas that you think that women want to?
A lot of women, it's the
Yeah.
lower body, the belly, because they've all had babies, and
Yeah.
it's very hard to get that, back thin again. And so, like the lower body, the quads and butt and abs. Yeah.
Well, we've got to run off to a break in the local weather, but after that, maybe you could show me a few little weight training exercises that moms can do maybe at home or in the gym to kind of get back in shape and kind of attack those problem areas.
That'd be perfect.
All right. Well, we'll be right back after these messages and your local weather from the West Pittman Law Firm. That's westpittmanlawfirm.com. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Lori Castellini from Mike Walker Fitness, and she's going to show us a little bit about weight training and what we could do in the morning to get ready. Okay, I'm a busy mom, right? Just dropped the kids off. I'm back home. I got my hand weights. What can I do?
Basically, there's a few quick things that you can do. You obviously need to do a little bit more repetitions than what I'm going to show you, but I can give you some basics, a little bit of lower body, a little bit of upper body to get you going in the morning.
All right, well, let's see what you got.
All right,
here.
so pick up your weights. If you don't have weights, you can use water bottles or soup cans or anything that you kind of have around to give you just that added benefit. You can also use no weights at all.
Okay.
One thing I would start off with would be a lunge, and I would just hold the weights to my side, have my shoulders up and back, keep your abs nice and contracted, and you just go down into the lunge and almost bring that back leg all the way down to the floor and come all the way back up. And just make sure that front knee doesn't go over the toe when you do that. So I would do, 3 sets of 8 to 12 on one side, and then you're going to switch legs and do the other side as well.
Okay.
Then I would probably go into some squats. So again, you have your hands and your weights to your sides, shoulders are up and back. Just go down as low as you can, just keeping the chest high, coming back up. And again, probably about 3 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions of that. And then you can go into a little bit of upper body, just kind of doing some alternating bicep curls, keeping the elbow close to the body, just bringing it up and twisting at the top, alternating those. And maybe even some shoulder presses. When you're here, just bring the weights to here, come all the way up, all the way down, keeping those abs nice and tight, nice bend to those knees as well.
And now that's not going to give your moms, big muscles or anything. It's just going to tone you out. Right?
Definitely not. Everybody thinks you're going to get bulky and big when you weight train, but actually women, we get lean when we weight train.
Okay,
it's
a
myth.
I'm a little insecure about doing this all by myself, but I go into the gym and I look for you.
Yes.
Right? And then you say, here's some hand weights, Don. Now, what would you do for me? Now, say I come in and say, okay, pick up your weights, Don. Okay, I'll pick them up. Now what?
Now what we're going to do is we're going to do the lunge. So basically just take your right leg forward, and just put it quite a bit forward so you know that your knee is not going to go over your toe, but you are going to have your knee follow your toe.
Okay.
And just kind of go down. And then come right back up, keeping the chest high.
I got it.
That's perfect. Yeah, you got it.
And actually, I
Pretty
can feel
easy.
that a little bit.
Yeah.
Not so bad.
You should. You do three sets of those. You're really going to feel them.
Now, what's a set? How many's in a set?
It can depend. You can do 8 to 12 to 15, just kind of depending. I would say, probably start around 12.
I can feel it in my quads too.
Yeah, definitely.
Now,
definitely.
what else did you do before you did squats?
The squat, just holding the weights to the side, keeping your chest high, and just go down. And again, don't let those knees come over the toes. Just kind of sit down. Yeah, that's
I
perfect.
Gotcha.
Bringing it back up. Looks good.
No, it doesn't look good. It looks very weird, but
it
feels
works,
good.
Right? And you feel it, right?
And there was another one that you did.
We just did the bicep curl where you kind of twist at the top and you just kind of come up just like that. Yeah. And just twist at the top and do the other one, bringing it up just like that.
Actually, back in the day, I used to do quite a few of these.
Yeah.
This is actually an easy motion for me. This other stuff is not so much. But, if you're a young mom like you are and you're busy and you don't have a lot of time to get into the gym, get some tips from you. How do we get in touch with you?
Exactly. Well, I work at Mike Walker Fitness. I'm also at the Healthplex. I do training there as well. And you can reach me at, my phone number is 719-251-8005. I have a Women on Weight program that I do, so I specify in women with weight training. So.
Lori Castellini?
Yes.
Here's your weight back, and thank you so much for coming on the show.
All right, thank you
and
very
good luck
much.
to you, and welcome to Panama City.
Okay, thank you.
She's new to the neighborhood. Now off to your Max Biz Minute from Zenobia.
Zenobia Andrews here, your business system strategist, and I am delighted to be here in the Max Out Studios bringing you your Max Biz tip for today. Now, our topic for this week, we're talking about procrastination. That fancy word, procrastination, and what it does to your potential. One of my favorite books reminds me that we shouldn't put things off for a later date that we know we should be doing today. And that's what procrastination is delaying things, putting things off that you know that you should be taking action in right now. Some of the negative effects that procrastination has on you is that it causes stress and fear and anxiety, and it makes you feel like you're in this rushed state of mind. And as you're in this rushed state of mind in your business, what that results in, it results in major mistakes and errors in contracts, and really it's a misrepresentation of your brand. And at the end of the day, you don't want this. You don't want, just because you've waited until the last minute, you don't want to be rushing, causing all of this anxiety and all of this rushed anxiety to make you make mistakes in your business. This is your opportunity right now to have a self-reflection and say, what are some of the things that are really making me feel like I can't take action today? Is it fear? Is it past mistakes? Is it what other people may think about me as I'm really taking action today? I really want you to have this conversation with yourself, because you have great things waiting just for you right now. This is your moment. Hey, listen, I'm Zenobia Andrews, your business system strategist, and I am here to support you. You can reach me at www.zenobiaandrews.com. And hey, if you follow me on social media, I will definitely follow you back. And let's continue to press towards the max.
It's time for your pet health tip of the week. So I'm here at Forest Park Animal Hospital with Dr. Stephen Favaloro, and we're going to talk about arthritis in your pets. Doc, I guess your pets can get arthritis just like humans do.
Absolutely. In fact, they say 1 in 5 pets have arthritis, and it's something that we see on a regular basis. The most common cause of arthritis is going to be, trauma. But there are some congenital reasons, birth abnormalities like hip dysplasia that will lead to arthritis later. elbow dysplasia. So these are, angular deformities. These are things that we'll see that'll cause arthritis, and we can see it at a young age, depending if it's due to congenital or if it's due to trauma. Certainly we see it in most older patients as well.
You hear a lot about hip dysplasia, particularly among older breeds, or bigger breeds rather. Are some breeds more susceptible to arthritis, or is it pretty much even across the board?
Well, there are certain breeds that, like your field trial, your fly ball dogs and things like that. They are, very active, running around. They have a tendency to put their joints through a lot of wear and tear. Large breed dogs in general, everybody knows Labs, Dobermans, things like that. They're prone to hip dysplasia. A lot of it is hereditary. And then, of course, small breed dogs, we see a lot of knee luxations where the kneecaps pop in and out, and that's usually, more in the fact that their shin bone's a little bowed and it pulls the patella over. We'll see hip dysplasia in small breed dogs too, but their weight is generally, if they're not too overweight, then, they don't put a lot of pressure on those hips and elbows, so it doesn't cause as much problems.
So just like humans, if you've got a weight issue, you may be putting extra stress on your joints.
Absolutely. Arthritis in itself is, it's generally a chronic disease, and there's a lot of inflammation that's going on. And what it does, it starts to erode the cartilage and eventually wears down to the bone. And then as that's happening, you also get a proliferation or a production of bone around the joint, and that also causes discomfort and inflammation. So there's things that will make it worse, like obesity will make it worse. Mm-hmm. If your dogs don't exercise a whole lot, then they go out and play real quick, they make a sudden move, mm-hmm. their body's not used to it. We'll see a lot of injuries that way.
Now, how will pet owners detect that? Is it boiled down to behaviors again, just observing your
it really does, and it depends. I mean, it's pretty obvious when the dog goes in the backyard, running, playing, and it comes back and it's non-weight bearing, in a leg. So, mm-hmm. If it's not a soft tissue injury, then a lot of times, like a muscle or something like that, then, a joint, and one of the biggest things that we see are knees. That's the most common orthopedic injury we see in dogs. Yeah. Cats we see when they get older, they tend to have a lot of elbow issues, from jumping down, mm-hmm. absorbing the impact of the land, and they're, pretty agile creatures. They'll jump from a very high distance down, and so we'll see a lot of arthritis in cats as well, in the back, just by the way they crouch and, the way they, lunge and things.
So if you start to see a difference in your pet's behavior and you suspect he may have a joint issue or she may have a joint issue or arthritis, what do? We bring them to you, and what would be the remedy for that?
And before we get to that, I'd say, arthritis mm-hmm. will kind of manifest itself, in a lot of different ways as far as how it's presented. Because if it's a slow process, you may just notice that, your pet just seems like it's getting a little bit older. Mm-hmm. They tend not to move around as much. They tend not to jump up and down off the furniture or go up and down the stairs, and they'll tend to be a little bit apprehensive, or if you go to touch them somewhere, they may kind of growl at you or kind of yelp before you even got to touch them as far as apprehension.
You try to pick them up and they're uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But there are a lot of things that your veterinarian could do for arthritis. A lot of weight management, number one. Number two, there's chondroprotectants like glucosamine, chondroit, and you have MSM that you could use. So these are things that will give the body the building blocks, if you will, necessary to thicken joint fluid and reproduce joint cartilage. Then there's the non-steroidals that help block pain and mediate inflammation. And these things do have their side effects. They can affect the liver and the kidneys. So you upset the stomach. So your your vet's going to want to make sure the kidneys and liver are okay.
Are there any other therapies that you can use besides
you can? There's acupuncture's been around for a while. I think there certainly
acupuncture
is.
For animals.
I certainly think there is a place for that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And also, there's a cold laser therapy that's out now too, where you have this device that sends continuous waves, joules of energy into a target tissue, and it does it for so many seconds depending on what you're treating. And what it does is it increases the ATP, or the energy that the cells need to recover, and it will really stimulate in a large percentage of dogs and cats growth in that area, even if it's a chronic area.
So I guess the bottom line is keep an eye on your pet, observe their behaviors, and if they're acting a little differently or look like they're in pain, bring them to the veterinarian.
Absolutely.
That was your pet health tip for the week with Dr. Stephen Favaloro, and we'll get another one next week. Welcome back to the show. I have a very special guest here, or guests. I have Crook and Vicky Stewart, and they have plans to turn Panama City into Florida's Music City. Crook, Vicki, thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks
on
for
such
having
short
us.
Thank you
notice.
for having us.
You know, I've been reading about you in the paper and listening to you on the radio. What brought this initiative about?
You want to tell that story?
Well, it was actually it's his passion that I share. That he always wanted Panama City to have more music, you know, involved. And when we were in Nashville just this last Christmas time, he's like, "Wouldn't it be great for Panama City to be like this?"
Yeah, wouldn't it?
So we could go just down the street on Harrison Avenue and visit venues and hear local live music.
Now, Crook, you have a background. You have a great background in music. Your whole career has been centered around music.
I've been in the music business. I'm 57, for over 40 years.
Wow.
At this point.
Well, we're the same age, actually.
All right.
Support group. But but
We need one.
Yeah, us old guys do. But you've been a tour manager for some pretty big names out there.
Yep.
And what are some of those people, if you don't mind name dropping on TV?
Crosby, Stills and Nash. I was out with the Stones for a while. Joan Baez.
I was out with the Stones for a while too, but not in person.
Jackson Brown.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that kind of led me to this, because it's so awesome to be on the road with these people and get to see great music almost every night and see what that does for people.
So
it's such a
you've got
motivator.
You've got this really deep background in music. You've been doing this your whole adult working life.
Absolutely.
And you're originally from Panama City. You went away, you did your thing. You're back in Panama City again.
This is paradise.
It is. It really is. People actually spend money to come here on vacation.
They do.
We live here year round.
Right.
Isn't that
And we're
something?
lucky to be here, I think.
We are.
And we just want to make it a better, even better place, and put it on the map musically.
I think music can do that for downtown.
That's what I think as
Because
well.
it's such a cool area.
Right.
It has such great potential. And all it needs is, my son used to hang down at Lights all the time. He took his lessons
Philip
down
and
there.
I played in band together when we were like 12.
Yeah, yeah. So, it's got great potential for that.
It does. We've been kicking around names for the project. Corridor of the Arts was one that came up, but yeah, it's the perfect setup. You could walk from place to place to place and hear live music, and our vision is to have from 6 to 12 venues, all right there downtown, that you can just pop into and see live music. Our goal, obviously, is to have it multiple nights a week, but we're willing to start with Fridays and Saturdays or whatever. And we think it's important for it to just kind of grow. So there's a couple places down there that have it already. We're looking to add another one next month. And if that goes well, add another one and get people excited about it. And it's really going to take. We're looking for it to grow, organically, and so we need people to spread the word, because we don't own this. We want everybody to feel like they have a piece of it, and to make downtown better and make Panama City better and give something back.
We've got to run off to a break, but on the other side of these messages, let's talk about what people can do to try and make this happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it was such a transformation. It's got such great potential, and it's a totally cool idea to do. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to the show. We're talking about making Panama City Music City FLA. Where'd that idea come from?
Well, because Nashville is called Music City USA.
Uh-huh.
So we figured Panama City should be the leading musical destination in Florida.
Yeah, we were talking about this before, Vicki, during the break, is that you go to the airport in Nashville and they have live music.
Right.
Why can't we have that here? Is there a reason we can't?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Why not?
Why not?
Well, I mean, rather than just be spring break central, I mean, let's have a brush with culture and bring some music.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And
We're
it's
all
not
for it.
just about music. We want it to be arts in general. Because arts bring so much to a city.
It really does. I always say it takes a little extra effort to be human.
Yes.
And it takes a little extra effort to be a real community.
Right.
And for a community this size, we have a pretty vibrant art scene here for a community this
We
size.
absolutely do.
But I think the downtown area in particular could benefit greatly.
Oh, it absolutely could. It's a win-win for everybody. And they've got big plans for the marina.
Yeah.
And so, to tie it all in together, I think it would just be a great thing. It's a win for the musicians because they have more places to play. And there is some unbelievable talent in this town. When we have our get-togethers at the Ghetto Palace, we're astounded.
Yeah,
some nights.
tell us about the Ghetto Palace really quickly.
The Ghetto Palace was born out of a desire that I had to have a place where I could make music 24 hours a day. To that end, we have a complete stage with all the gear, a really nice PA system, the ability to do multi-track recording. And we decided to have open jams, and we put it on Facebook, and anybody that sees it can just come out.
Just show up and play.
Show up and play. We've got all this talent in this town. Let's do something with it. Let's encourage them.
And there's a lot out here too.
There is. It's incredible, and it could be, like I said, it's a win-win. Yeah.
Crook and Vicki Stewart, we are so out of time, but thank you so much for
Thanks
coming
for
on the
having
show.
us, yeah.
And thanks for everything you're doing to make
Thank
Panama
you.
City a better and more interesting and musical place to live.
Get out and support local music.
That's what I say.
All right.
Support local music.
Yes.
Thanks
Absolutely.
again. You've been watching Waking Up with Don, and we'll see you next time.